Movie footage used in the video is owned entirely by the copyright holders. Nemo the Geek makes no claims of ownership, holds no right, and simply uses the footage for purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. This is not a substitute to watching the movie.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jumpscare Jollies and Creepscare Counts on Nemo the Geek, but this time with dinosaurs. I'm your host Naim Ahmed, and we will make this into a trilogy of a roaring 90s episode because, well, dinosaurs. First of all, I couldn't find an Alan Grant hat, but I do have this pink hat and my glasses, so I look like a paleontologist. Yeah, looks legit. Alright, so what started as one Jurassic Park video has officially mutated into 3. That's right, it's Jurassic Park week here on the channel. We're breaking down the first movie in terrifying detail. The dinosaur kill, the jump scares, the should we really be bringing back velociraptor moments? You name it. New videos dropping all week, so grab your flare, avoid the T-Rex, and stay tuned. Now, we're only dividing Jurassic Park into 3 parts because 1, it's the best film of the franchise, fight me. 2, it's the start of something new. And 3rd, I have a lot to say, and since this is the kicking off point, this is gonna be a long video, so strap in. We'll also meet the dinos. Just a quick intro here, since part 3 will go full paleontology nerd mode.
Nice hat. You're trying to look like a secret agent?
Oh, okay. I thought it looked cool. Jeez, nothing hits you harder than being insulted by Dennis freaking Nedry, man. Even though strictly speaking, this is not a horror movie, it's a horror sci-fi movie. Because you tell me that if you see a dinosaur staring at you through your bedroom window, tell me you wouldn't freak out? Well, if you go out to pet the little extinct sucker, then better believe you're in an opening Jurassic Park or Jurassic World scene. So long and good night. And that's exactly how this movie starts. I love how this movie starts. The dark music over the Universal logo, the title card moving into a scene where a group of men who clearly didn't read any waivers before signing them are transporting a dinosaur, and you better believe someone is going to be Dino Chow here, because that will set the tone that the dinosaur toys you played with as a kid have nothing on these de-extinct. So the basic premise of the movie is that an eccentric billionaire has been working on a resort off of Costa Rica to build an amusement park. Here they clone dinosaurs. Forget the scientific ramifications of being able to clone using DNA, meaning the organ registry would have been extinct instead, or how he came about cloning plants from the Paleolithic era. But hey, John Hammond wouldn't stop at cloning dinosaurs. He cloned prehistoric plants as well. Because apparently, if you find prehistoric salad in amber, science says go for it. It's organic, man. For some reason, he really wants the world to know he can do anything. A totally fictional character, absolutely nothing crazy about him. This is a man with his priorities in order. A man who can end world hunger, a man who has so much money to actually make a difference. But no, he wants to clone dinosaurs and achieve unrealistic goals instead. A totally fictional character, absolutely nothing crazy about him. A little far-fetched though. Well, this just got a whole new level of terrifying, so we are just gonna move on. So John Hammond, a totally fictional character, by the way, decided the organ registry, species humanities has wiped out, other scientific breakthroughs that I personally can't think of. We're gonna see some dinosaurs, and boy, are we gonna see some dinosaurs. So he invites a paleontologist, no, not that paleontologist, a paleobotanist, and a mathematician.
Chaotician, actually.
Sorry, chaotician, my dude. I was just about to say whose focus is chaos theory. Relax. They're accompanied by the insurance company's lawyer and the other best pair of human beings to bring on an untested, barely functional facility where a worker just died, Hammond. His grandkids, Lex and Tim. Ah yes, the classic parenting two millennials move. Kids, I'm emotionally unavailable right now, so here's an all expenses paid trip to a dinosaur death trap while I process my divorce. And yes, things are about to go wrong. Very wrong. Before going into the movie, I would like to mention that like in the Smile movie, I added an extra count. I will add dinosaur and human deaths to this franchise because, well, it's fun and I don't have to warn you about spoilers. This movie came out in 1993, so if you haven't seen it yet, you aren't a fan of dinosaurs, or you've been procrastinating 30 odd years, which is just weird, my dude. So full spoilers ahead. I mean full steam ahead. With that intro out of the way, let's go and catch some dinosaur jump scares, creep scares, deaths, both humans and dinos. We don't discriminate here, and go through what happens in the best movie of the franchise. And yes, I said what I said. No sequel will match the magic of this perfect piece of cinema, and I will fight you if you disagree. Nah, just kidding. I'm kidding. I will just set my raptor on you and see who survives. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be the raptor. I'm also not including the book. Everything I cover here is strictly bound to the movies. Also, there are many iconic and funny moments and lines. I'll try to include some, but I can't really just cram them all in there. Last thing to note, I'm still figuring the format out, so give me time to establish it, please. Thank you. Anyways, let's get to it. So just as I said in the beginning, we begin with eerie music where workers and a game warden, Robert Muldoon, R.I.P., are transporting a particular dangerous dinosaur, and you can tell it's dangerous because all of them look either dead inside or look like they're about to piss themselves. Except this little dude here who's chewing his gum so casually, just moving a dinosaur, no big deal. We get Muldoon looking serious with a horde of men holding what I assume are razor rods. We're at Isla Nublar, 120 miles west of Costa Rica, which means wherever this is, it is not in Costa Rica. Those people are safe. See, Hammond does care about people, except the people working this job. But it's okay. At least it's not San Diego, right? So they're lugging a mid-sized crate, shouting instructions. We get a POV from inside the cage, and to 3-year-old me, this was spooky. I'll count it as a creep scare, especially that squeal, and then Muldoon starts shouting instructions as if he's an OBGYN.
And push!
Then he tells Joffrey No, not that Joffrey, which is a shame because if a raptor had gotten that little tyrant, the audience would have cheered instead of screamed. By the way, this Joffrey, the actor's name is also Joffrey, and he passed away in real life, so RIP. And all due respect to what I'm about to say about your death in the movie. Joffrey stands in the most vulnerable position to open the gate. Before this, he made sure the locking mechanism was secure, and then one point from the dino and we see it unlock itself. Starting off our jump scare count, I'm sorry Hammond, I don't get where you get the catchphrase spared no expense, because this gate should have remained locked despite the boink by the raptor, no matter how powerful. Now we don't know what is in there, but they do. And Muldoon even said later on in the movie that these dinosaurs show critical thinking, so why not sedate her a bit so she's riding that high when she steps into the park, or use an automated gate. Spare no expense, right? Unless it's blue collar workers. Hammond. So obviously Joffrey becomes Dino Chow. So that's one worker down by a raptor. Told you raptor's gonna win. And the others just make futile attempts to save Joffrey. Muldoon holds on to him while Joffrey shows off his flying prowess, giving us muted ahs. As if he just stepped on a piece of Lego and not being held by the legs by an apex predator. I gotta tell you, this zoomed in shot of the velociraptor's eye and Muldoon's eye, and then the cut to zoom in on his mouth, shouting, "Shoot her!" While Joff Boy slips away is pretty cool. We do hear shots, but no dino death here, only a blue collar worker doing his job. We then hard cut to the Dominican Republic. This movie's taken us places, and it's places we might never go to because it's an amber mine. And they show someone in a river raft near a cave where a tailored balding man, Don Gennaro, could not look more out of place than a dinosaur at a theme park for kids, being pulled by some locals onto dry land. So the gist is, Hammond can't meet him, so one of his employees greets Gennaro, the lawyer, who informs us that Joffrey's family is filing a $20 million lawsuit. In the 90s, 20 million? Whoa! Either that's hush money or something shady is going on here, because I tried checking the value of life, but the only tangible thing I could find was 2 to 3 mil in 1998, and nothing about 1993, nothing about Costa Rica. Even death by dino means 2 to 3 mil max. Quite a retirement fund, retirement from life. So that's a retirement package with some teeth. Gennaro emphasizes that the park isn't safe and investors are thinking about backing out. What I want to know is why they fronted in the first place. And yes, I know there's no such word, but nothing sums up late stage capitalism like rich people asking, sure, but how can we monetize prehistoric carnage? Spoiler, they found a way. The 90s. Love them. Basically, the real moral of Jurassic Park isn't about chasing dinosaurs or cloning dinosaurs, running away from dinosaurs. It's about how you can pitch any deadly idea to investors if you say the word exclusive experience. Slide 1, dinosaurs. Slide 2, profit. Slide 3, don't worry about slide 3. It's an exclusive experience. He needs 2 experts to sign off that the park is safe, and the insurance company will be okay with the dinosaurs and theme parks again. Who are these people? I need to pitch them my idea of opening He needs Alan Grant, which tells us straight up that he's a big name in the field and in the dino game. But Grant's a digger. A gold digger? No, that's just Amber. He's a paleontologist and he takes his job very seriously. With his girlfriend, paleobotanist Ellie Sattler. God, I love these two. And the chemistry, I know they have an age gap in reality, but man, do they have chemistry on screen? Absolutely. I tend to ramble a lot. Sorry, I'll try to cut that down. Slight tangent though, again. I just said I tend to ramble a lot. Slight tangent. How do they know where these mosquitoes were? Which dinos they fed on and which plants they fed on? I don't know. To give us this DNA, what if it's King Kong DNA? Crocodile Dinosaurus? But man, I would have loved some detail on how they dug up mosquitoes, only to find the wrong DNA, and it's back to the amber mines again, suckers. Anyway, we hard cut to Montana. See, the movie has made us travel to 3 different locations in the first 5.5 minutes. 5.5 minutes? Oh my god, buckle in folks, I've been ranting on. This is gonna be a long ass video. So right in Badlands near Snakewater, Montana, USA. Great name. Hey Emmett, do you wanna go to Badlands near Snakewater for our honeymoon? Emmett? I think he ran away. I chased my husband away with that decision, with that suggestion. Emmett, I was joking, honey. In Badlands, Montana, we see Grant and his team digging up a fossil and trying out new technology. I love how they're digging up that fossil though. It's so soothing and relaxing. If I had this job, I wouldn't need my anxiety medication. Probably. I'm making no real claims. Oh, they're so nice. They're even helping clean the dino's nose. Don't use your finger. And yes, that is what computers looked like back then. This is the realest part of the movie. I had this PC, this chunky PC when I was 9 years old. So Dr. Grant believes raptors evolved into birds. Some animals probably did evolve along those lines. Fun fact! And I had to scroll all the way down my Tumblr for this Jurassic Park thread. Credit to this person right over here who said that when they were trying to figure out how raptors would walk, this movie ended up advancing our best understanding of dinosaurs at the time. Check out my second video about how this movie confirmed the dino birth theory. I love how Alan accurately uses the word Cretaceous period. This scene is creepy as I will give a descriptive creep scare here. Dr. Grant is that good. And what's this? Since the movie should start, a helicopter lands on the fossil they were digging up. I gotta clean that nose up again, bro. This time, don't use your finger, guy. We finally meet John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough. Rest in peace, sir. Rest in peace. I just love how he just walks in as if he owns the trailer, which he does, and starts rooting around in someone else's fridge. I mean, there's aren't British people supposed to have etiquette and manners? And I don't know, it's so invasive. Even if you own the place, just ask or whatever. He just shakes his finger and just blows the dust off like stardust, like make a wish. Yeah. Seriously though, before all the killing, this is a comedy. I love a little levity in my horror, and this movie delivers. Sure, because I'm taking you to a place where you will have several near-death experiences, have insane PTSD afterwards, and break up with your longtime girlfriend, all with the promise of funding your dig for a further 3 years. Being rich must be so cool though. I mean, dance my little puppets, dance, because money. I don't know, I'm not rich. It's funny that for us, even if we have seen the dinosaur and we know it's a dinosaur themed park, Hammond doesn't clarify it once for Ellie or Alan what it is. What if this is some trafficking ruse, you idiots? Clarify before you hop on a chopper and go off to an island. Clarify, because as we see, when they come to the park, they still are unaware of what it is and what it holds. You just hop on someone's jet without knowing where you're going, what you're going to be seeing, just because he promised you money. Man, you guys are easy. I mean, it is weird that in this dinosaur movie, this is the most unrealistic part of the movie, because no matter how much they need the money, they wouldn't do it at the cost of their life, limb, or dignity. For all you guys know, this crazy billionaire has a dungeon full of people in various stages of, well, duress. Anyway, hard cut to San Jose, Costa Rica, where we see the 90s stereotypical jerk shoveling his face with food to show us he's a greedy weasel, and cutting a deal with a competitor who doesn't want to put in the work but reap the rewards. A moment of corporate espionage that will go down in history with a Barbasol can. A moment that would go on to become a famous meme.
There it is.
By the way, fun Easter egg here, but the way Dr. Grant ties his seatbelt, you obviously know by now, is very clever foreshadowing for how two females in the same sex environment can mate. In Jurassic Park, remember back when movies were good and you notice things after several viewings instead of being shoved everything in your face? Aren't you the one who's inspecting this park? Because shouldn't it be the other way around? This scene is just the most absolute beautiful scene. The acting, the music, the way they converse like scientists, it's so organic and natural, not today's dialogue. It's that's artificial, choppy. People don't talk like they talk in today's movies. The way they're talking right now, that's how most people talk in real life. The dialogue is just so organic and it flows so naturally that it's just like they're two scientists and they're, even if they are seeing something impossible and the dinosaur just chilling and just vibing, they move in herds and it's not cold-blooded. We can throw that theory out the window. It's a warm-blooded creature out there, you know. They're talking like scientists and making observations while being in awe of what they're seeing. And this is our first dinosaur sighting, by the way. Gotta love this scene. Damn, Gennaro, it didn't take you 48 minutes to switch moods. They do move in herds. And he's crying. It's so natural. And Fallen Kingdom, I will destroy you for killing this dino Alan Grant was crying over. My fury is fueled again, and it will not be quenched until I come for your review. Remember that. Just wait for your video. I'm coming for you, and you'll be sorry that you ever deemed to kill that dinosaur off or deemed to exist. Calm down, okay? Have a sip of water. So everything's okay. Who knew this man would become the root of all evil? in all the Jurassic World sequels with a very flimsy redemption arc. I don't know. In my eyes, nothing Dr. Henry Wu did in Dominion could make up for what he did. Oh, Dr. Grant pointing at himself at the raptor hatching will never not be cute. Oh my god, this movie tugs at your heartstrings. Hammond's just being doula to it like it's a baby chicken. Dr. Ian Malcolm comes in as the first to separate and says his iconic line.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
It sure does, Ian, especially when it's locked in a pen, genetically modified, and accidentally pregnant. Honestly, Jurassic Park is less about science and more about Mother Nature's speed-running revenge on us. Ian's face at the feeding scene, like, what is this crazy man doing? However, over lunch, each person gives their very valid, apprehensive point of view, and after that, in come the grandkids. And what came of the sea bass? I don't know, but I'm hungry now. Can someone make me some Chilean sea bass? I want to see what Alejandro made. But anyways, the sea bass is gone and the grandkids are here. And Grant is like, if I sign the park is safe, do I get to get out of babysitting these kids? Thing to note that the tour shows no dinosaurs, which is the first indication that these experts were right. This is where Malcolm's chaos theory comes into play. But if I went deeper into that, you'll hate me, you'll set your raptors on me, so I'll just leave it at you cannot control dinosaurs. My dude, just stop. You'd think the risk assessment meeting went, hey, what if the dinosaurs escape? And Hammond replied, what if they don't? And somehow that counted as reassurance. I don't know how this park got cleared in the first place. Yeah, it's great. Dinosaurs are back and it made a pretty awesome movie. But like I said, I'm not going into the books here. The guy who does risk assessment for this project should be fired or eaten. I'm open to either option. The first dinosaur on the tour is the Dilophosaurus. Watch the third movie to find out more about the dinosaurs, the reality versus what changes were made in the movie. Next, we have everyone's favorite, T-Rex. Although I do think the Dilophosaurus is severely underused in each installment, just seems like it has a very specific vendetta against Barbasol can smugglers, or it's just a good guy in disguise defending Jurassic Park from corporate espionage. No one appreciates this little karma pooch, frilly little karma pooch. They try to lure the T-Rex out with a goat, but obviously it doesn't work again, and meanwhile a huge storm is about to hit the island, hence the line,
Why didn't I build in Orlando?
oh, I don't know, John, because Florida is the only place where dinosaurs would have been the second weirdest problem. But maybe then we get Jurassic Park plus Florida, which is how we get an alligator wrestling a raptor in the parking lot. Honestly though, if Hammond built Jurassic Park in Orlando, it would have lasted exactly 2 days before a guy in jorts tried to ride a triceratops home. I can already see the headline going, Florida man rides triceratops home and sues engine when catastrophe strikes. Boy, I really got caught up on the Orlando bit. Not possible anyway, since probably Disney already cornered the market on overpriced death traps there. Okay, I'm shutting up. back to the movie. No dinos showed up. Well, Mr. Arnold, we held on to our butts for nothing. Nothing, I tell ya.
See, here I'm now by myself, talking to myself. That's chaos theory.
Ooh, that's chaos theory. I practice chaos theory all the time then. Also, Hammond, my man, what are you doing? Seriously, what kind of a billionaire are you? Spare no expense. I see all kinds of spared expenses everywhere. Even poor people have locks on their cars. Jurassic Park basically invested the Tesla experience, self-driving cars, doors that won't open or close when you need them, and the looming threat of sudden death. Clearly a fictional character, John Hammond. The 90s were ahead of their time. Although I think we can give him a break here. That's not a design flaw, that's just parenting or grandparenting in the 90s. That's how us millennials grew up. I think this leads us into one of my favorite scenes where we find sick triceratops and we actually get to see a real dinosaur in the flesh again. However, I feel the need to tell you that even though it's an herbivore, the triceratops is not a harmless dinosaur. But this one is sick, and oh, look at Dr. Grant cuddling the dinosaur. See, she's an innocent, impressionable, introverted kid, and she's just so touched by seeing his love for dinosaurs. I legit cried at this scene when I first saw it as an adult, even though it does end with Dr. Ellie Sattler elbow deep in dino poop. That's how you know she's a badass. Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler was one of my idols growing up. Meanwhile, Nedry is planning his own $1 million heist and nobody notices anything weird about him. It shows how low on the ladder coders are, even though their importance is like here, their value is here. You can't see my hand. So their importance is here and their value is here. It shows how low coders are to the higher ups. Don't get me wrong, Nedry is a bad dude in every way possible, but treat your coders and your project managers better, okay? See, she figured out it was pharmacological in 2 seconds, David. That's why you need trained dino doctors, not regular vets from your hometown. If you want a dino theme park, the trike has probably been telling you, hey, my eyes are up here, dude, you know. Hammond spared no expense except hire more people who are dinosaur experts, dinosaur doctors. You can create them but can't diagnose them if they're ill. Big pile of shit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Gennaro being true to his sleazy lawyer nature, not all lawyers, okay, but this one for sure, insists on going back, and that's when they decide to do the one thing no one should do in dangerous situations or uncharted territories: split up. Come on, you guys, I thought you were smart. Did you forget Murphy's Law with dinosaurs running about? Because apparently Jurassic Park isn't just a sci-fi thriller. It's a slasher movie now. All that's missing is someone saying, I'll be right back. Meanwhile, the storm's picking up faster. I mean, you had warnings, but it's picking up faster than anticipated, and Nedry has to be at the docks in 5 minutes. Problem being, his plan requires 15 or 18 minutes at best. So he shoots a shot and disarms the system and makes an excuse to get a snack. I know, totally unbelievable alibi, and steals the embryos in the Barbasol can. In his efforts to escape, he told Hammond and Arnold that some systems might go on and off for a while as he is running a debugging program. A solid alibi. What he didn't mention was that he turned the electric fences down, leaving room for the dinosaurs to roam around freely on what is now their island.
Look at me. Sure. I'm the captain now.
No paddocks, no safety, no phones, no electricity. He just popped them back to the 1590s, and still this greedy mugger somehow finds a way to muck it up. He hits a sign which indicates where the dock is due to the storm, which can happen to anyone. I agree. And the sign swings, leaving him stranded. Apparently, the fate of the park depends on rotatable plastic carnival signs everywhere that just spins in the wind. Because obviously, when you're running $1 billion dinosaur park, why not install dollar store navigation? Spared no expense, huh? Luck did not favor him, and he wandered into a paddock. A dinosaur paddock. But karma's biding its time, hiding in the bushes, giving him some hope just to snatch it away at the end. That's why this death scene is just so well done. As a first-time viewer, you almost think he might get away with it. It's hilarious how he turns into Wilma for a second and then just goes, I can afford more glasses. Yeah, I can imagine him in gold glasses with studded diamonds. His car is stuck on a massive log, and I'm pretty sure the boat left Nedry time to set up a new time with your buyer, but instead we get a creep scare. A little baby tiny Dilophosaurus, and who makes his first appearance as a harmless little pooch, observing Nedry playing peekaboo and just saying hi and wondering whether he is predator or prey. Timing really does bug me here. He did say that we're leaving in 5 minutes, and he insists that 15, and then he got lost and finally found his way. It should have been 30 minutes have passed, but Nedry says that I still got time. Maybe it's delusional, or time works weirdly in Jurassic Park. I have no idea. Anyways, Nedry pulls his head up and plays fetch with the little guy.
Play fetch? Stick, stupid! Fetch a stick, boy!
But come on, Nedry, you know you on Dinosaur Island. There be no pooches here. They don't want to play fetch. So naturally, Nedry reverts back to his douchebag self, hurls an insult that lands in the mud.
No wonder you're extinct.
Not anymore, they're not. The Dilophosaurus takes it very personally, chooses to flap his frill, but it's not a happy flap. You know, it's an angry one. And oh, you annoyed the little venomous baby Dilophosaurus. It spits at him in anger. I'm just kidding, y'all. It sprays him with venom. But not before Nedry says the most hilarious line. Nedry, what?
What do you want? You want food? Look at me. I just fell down a hill. I'm soaking wet. I don't have any food. I have no food on me.
First of all, dude, you are food. Second of all, you're not getting mugged, my dude. Just chuck the tiny thing with something, kick it, or just run back to your van. Do something else. Don't negotiate with the dinosaur. But no, Nedry didn't get this far without being stupid. So after being sprayed by the venom, we get a jump scare as he finds the Dilophosaurus in his passenger seat. hitch a ride with you, my man. Maybe he just wants to go to Costa Rica and drink cocktails. Prison break him out and make a spin-off series. Dennis and the Dilophosaurus. Oh, Dennis is dead. Although as a kid, when the can falls and gooey mud fell on top of it, my kid brain always thought it was Nedry's blood, flesh, guts mixed with the mud, and this scene scared the living bejesus out of me, because it was just so terrifying. I didn't realize that it was the focus on the Barbasol can and the mud falling over it, meaning it was lost in the park where no one would find it. Like, I thought that the focus was his remains were falling on top of the can, and that image just remained in my tiny little developing brain. In any case, you just won the Darwin Award, my friend. Congrats. So another human death tosses into the pile, mauled by Dilophosaurus for being stupid. Arnold declares he can't bring the park online without Nedry. Nuh-uh, nuh-uh. That's not the attitude we're looking for here, my friend. Not right now. Look, I love this movie. Seriously, I do. But Jurassic Park is basically a $1 billion science fair project run by people who skip the consequences chapter of the book.
Anything at all can and does happen.
So you are familiar with that law, huh? Back when I said it, no one paid me any attention.
Hey, what'd that touch?
I love how the car stops and Alan's initial reaction is, hey, what did I just do? Because remember the computer scene, he's like, okay, I'm not technology compatible, I must have done something to stop the cars. Alan Grant, he kind of reminds me of my dad, not personality wise, but the way he dresses, not the hat but the shirts and the mannerisms, the way he talks, his facial expressions, the way he walks, his posture, everything, and the way he's with kids, a little distant but definitely shows emotion in a different way. He definitely he reminds me of my dad, a younger version of my dad when I was a kid. He and Alan Grant could be side by side and their mannerisms can be identical. So 30-something dad is Alan Grant, and maybe that's why I respect him so much, but his character is absolutely very, very well written as well. So it's not just that. I'm rambling again.
What now? Fences are failing all over the park.
Fine, Landry. Check the vending machine.
Yeah, that's your safest bet. Check the vending machines, please.
The raptor fences aren't out, are they?
Oh, no, they're still on.
Why the hell would he turn the other ones off?
Hammond asking why would he turn the other ones off. Previously he was saying he has a gift about telling what people are like. He is not even considering corporate espionage, like I said in my no spoiler review of Rebirth. His hubris is his downfall. It doesn't even cross his mind that the employee, always talking about money, may take drastic measures, doesn't heed warnings of experts who are at the top of their fields, and sends out everyone in a storm off an island, Costa Rica. So now my favorite creep scares coming up. The ground shakes with tremors reflected in the glass. Donald Gennaro, true to form, saying maybe it's the power trying to come back on. Yeah, sure, Donald, sure. This whole sequence is 100% just chef's kiss. Like, I would not change one thing about it. Like I said in my previous video, I am sure someone made a deal with the devil at a crossroads and sold their soul to create the special effects in the movie. I mean, this whole sequence is proof of that. It is that level of perfection. So Tim notices the glass vibrating, and it's not just vibrating constantly, it's vibrating like tremors like that. So that's a creep scare. And in part 2 of Jurassic Week, I'll show you how they accomplished this neat little trick. The behind the scenes and making of this movie is ingenious. Now we see the goat missing, an actual jump scare when the lamb leg falls on the ceiling of the van. Even though the goat is not officially part of the cast, but let's face it, the poor goat did not sign up for this. In any case, creep scare of the claw just casually chilling on the wire, not getting electrocuted. Again, another creep scare that the power is off. They're not safe. They can't move. They're in electric cars. And then we see the T-Rex chomping down on a lamb snack. Lex is immediately traumatized, and Gennaro doubles down on being Gennaro and leaves the kids to hide in the bathroom. The adults in the other van, the non-cowardly ones, don't notice, I'm assuming, because they're just like, you gotta go. So that's why Lex maybe turns on the flashlight to signal to them, hey, something's wrong, because why else would they decide to have a rave in the van with the T-Rex on the loose? And then we see the T-Rex in all its mighty glory. And oh my god, that roar! This scene is just so perfect. Or maybe she turns on the light to get this excellent piece of cinema, this dilating pupil. Oh my god, such a beautiful creep scare, would scare anyone in real life. I love the little details in this scene. The footsteps, the claw, the T-Rex checking what a van is with its, cheek, and behaving as it should, like an animal in the wild, and the children covering their ears up out of how loud the roar is. Often in movies something explodes or there's a gunfire and we barely see a reaction, but a roar, or any roar from a wild animal, even from a lion or something, would make me jump out of my skin. And I just love how they're behaving like kids would. Kids panic, kids do dumb shit especially when there's a T-Rex on the loose and they've been abandoned by the one and only adult in their car, and then they shine the light above on the glass ceiling and the T-Rex sees another way through, from the top people, and crash. And fun fact, get used to the drill by now, geeks, because we will discuss this in our second video. Because there is a very interesting sequence of events that led to this, in which the children were screaming for real in this scene. That's all I'm gonna say. Although I will give you the hook. Should I? Shouldn't I? No, let's just leave it at the fact that their screams and their terror was actually very, very real. So Alan the paleontologist knows what to do and successfully plays fetch. But unlike Nedry with a flare and a T-Rex, but Malcolm, who has been wise enough so far, wants to be Major Man from the Powerpuff Girls, and so he lights another flare for no reason but to be the hero and goes to save the kids. They were already safe, you dummy, and now you got Gennaro killed. At least his pants were up. Gennaro the lawyer gets eaten off a toilet, and to be fair, it's poetic really. Jurassic Park doesn't flush away its problems, it just feeds them to the T-Rex. Ian got stepped on by the T-Rex. He gets injured, is over here, doesn't die, but Gennaro does, and we count that as a human kill. So far only the humans who are bad are dying, so we don't really feel bad about it. And the disposable characters are really going fast now, huh? I love how the first half of the movie is all marvelous and amazing and new, and then the novelty just wears off in a snap, and it's horror, terror, PTSD, and dino munchies all going forward, and nothing feels forced. I love this movie so much. Now the T-Rex, as we know, has an excellent 20/20 vision. So not moving would not achieve anything, and it has an excellent sense of smell. But again, I cannot stress how much I love this movie. They mentioned earlier that they filled the missing DNA with frog DNA, and some frogs cannot see their prey if it's not moving. So that can possibly be the reason why the T-Rex does not see them when they're not moving, and it's possible that their smell is masked by the mud and the rain. So I get how they survived this scene. And plot armor, of course, there has to be some suspension of disbelief here because this is a movie about dinosaurs, but you also have to sort of balance it with logic, and this is done so perfectly in cohesion, and it's just so amazing. Now the giant hellhole that opened up in the T-Rex paddock, I have no answer for. One moment it's ground level and the T-Rex walks out. The next scene, boom, there's a 100-foot cliff. Honestly, it's like either Isla Nublar has Minecraft style terrain generation, or Hammond spared no expense on hiring MC Escher as the park's chief landscaper. But the actual explanation is probably that they wanted another action scene because this is a sci-fi action horror movie. They finally dodge out of the way when they fall into the sudden hellhole that opened up in the T-Rex paddock, where the T-Rex pushes the car for later examination with Tim still inside it, and it crash lands into a tree. Can I just say that when Arnold is talking about key checks and White Rabbit and code, nobody said the standard cliche phrase, English please. They just listened, and I just appreciate that so much. Muldoon and Ellie go in a gas-powered jeep to get the kids and Alan, which is a smart idea. Meanwhile, Tim is chilling in a tree alone in a jeep. P-U-K-I-N-G. Yes? No? I'm sorry. Lex is in shock until Dr. Grant reassures her he will come back for her, which is again what I mean by fleshed out characters. We care what happens to them, and they don't have the personality of Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy, or every Netflix teen show or movie where one character has one personality trait and that's it. No, they're kids. They've acted brilliantly, sure, but they've been written brilliantly as well. As kids, they've been written as kids. They won't think straight, they're scared and abandoned with dinosaurs on the loose, not to mention probably some divorce trauma already brewing in there, which had a band-aid on it that this trip was supposed to fix, only to be whooshed away by the storm and the dinosaurs. They're behaving like normal human beings would behave, and I absolutely love that. Look at Alan Grant. He's learning to be a father figure. He calms Lex down, and he knew Tim was embarrassed about throwing up, so he promises not to tell anyone, which in turn gains his trust. It's a tiny thing. He understood why Tim wasn't reaching out to him, because he was embarrassed. He was like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I won't tell anyone. It's just between you and me. Now come on. So despite the dinosaurs, the kids have their own shock, their own embarrassments, their own trauma, and Grant's just trying to just get them to safety, but he isn't just grabbing them and kidnapping them, or he's understanding them, and he's making sure that they come with him on their own terms, which is amazing. I'm just talking about how ahead of its time this movie is. They could have easily made Ellie the female boss girl, who doesn't want kids, she wants a career, and kids would hold her back. No, she wants kids, the guy doesn't. I think it's very forward thinking of them. It's not shoving in our faces anything that women are strong or women are the leads. Alan Grant does his own thing as a lead, Ellie Sattler does her own thing as a lead, and there's a scene where Ellie truly shines, and I'm gonna get to that if I ever stop talking. Alan Grant knows Tim is embarrassed about throwing up, so he promises not to tell anyone, so he gains his trust, albeit he also sets the wheel sideways, but hey, we take the wins we get, man, in Dinosaur Land. See, this movie, even in the middle of tense scenes, makes me chuckle. I love it so much. It's not all about dinosaurs. It's great writing, great characters, arcs, relationships, and yes, dinosaurs. Dr. Alan Grant graduated from the Prometheus School of Running. Try moving sideways. The ensuing dialogue is just so cute and funny and organic. Way to look at the situation, glass half full, Alan. I admire you for that. So Ellie and Muldoon find Malcolm and Gennaro. Gennaro's a goner. Malcolm's built a tourniquet for himself, which means that he woke up, he was injured, he saw, saved his leg. Probably they chance moving him. Creepscare time for our buddy Malcolm with an impact tremor.
Fairly alarmed here.
Thank you for telling us how you're feeling on the inside, Ian. We really needed to know that.
Come on, we gotta get out.
Turns out it was a jump scare all along, and a twist at once when it turns out Rexy was following Ellie and Muldoon and was actually chasing them.
Think they'll have that on the tour?
So Alan and the kids climb a tree, and in a few dialogues You just see how organic this brother and sister relationship is. I feel like if my brother and I were stuck here at this age, we would be having the harmless bickering all the way through as well. Alan sings with the brachiosaurus and tells Lex that not all of them are monsters, and then the three have a sweet moment before he throws a raptor claw he once carried with pride down below. It's a heartbreaking scene. It works on so many levels. I mean, it's such a bittersweet scene for Alan, Dr. Alan Grant, knowing he might never dig up dinosaurs, and even if he does, it will never be the same ever again. It's like growing up and finding out the wonder and joy you had in you before you had experienced something or got something was better than seeing it become reality, because reality is a prison and a curse, and we are all burning in it together. I think I need a sip of water. This is the scene where I said Ellie shines. Ellie is the one who's the hero here, because we see the merch all lined up ready for when the park opens. Something Hammond knows deep inside but does not acknowledge. Now that will never happen. Can we just appreciate the extra mile they went with the set design? Holy shit, look at that column. Who is the architect here? This scene does not get the credit that it truly deserves, because this conversation is one of the most emotionally intelligent moments of this film. It's quiet but powerful. It packs a punch. It contrasts Hammond's hubris with Ellie's humanity. So while dinosaurs roar and fences fail outside, this is the moment the spirit of Jurassic Park finally breaks and learns. Being a world-class denialist, he is just sitting alone with a table full of melting luxury ice cream, having a literal mental and ice cream meltdown. But here Ellie joins him. But unlike what watchers think, he isn't grieving over here. He's not contemplating that this was a mistake or a failure. No, he's actually strategizing. He's rebranding in his head.
This place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. I mean, not devoid of merit.
But you can't think through this one, John. You have to feel it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Having Nedry was a mistake. That's obvious. We're over-dependent on automation. I can see that now. Now, the next time, everything's correctable.
John.
Creation is an act of sheer will. Next time, it'll be flawless.
It's still the flea circus. It's all an illusion.
When we have control again.
You never had control. That's the illusion. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. But I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. The only thing that matters now are the people we love. Alan and Lex and Tim. John, they're out there where people are dying. So, it's good.
Spared no expense.
Here we actually see his disillusionment and his delusion. So where he says creation is an act of sheer will, next time it will be flawless. Hammond is reeling from failure, but he's still clinging on to the illusion of control. Instead of admitting defeat, he rationalizes the disaster as a test run sort of thing, a beta test. So his line next time suggests a tech mogul mindset. It's every billionaire CEO's mindset who doesn't care what happens unless his dream come true, no matter what the expense, at whose expense, even his own grandkids. Failure is a stepping stone for him at this point. Even at this point, failure is a stepping stone for him. But this isn't a startup. People died, the melting ice cream is a metaphor for his crumbling dream, like I said. It's luxurious, sweet, rich, but ultimately perishable. So he's still thinking like a visionary, not like a realist, and he's in denial. So here Ellie comes, she sits down, she hears the word next time we'll have control, and she says, you never had control. That's the illusion. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place, but I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and now it's out there. So basically, Ellie confronts Hammond not with anger. That's the most crucial point here. She doesn't confront him with anger, but with calm clarity. She represents reason, ethics, and natural wisdom. Her line shatters Hammond's philosophy. She reminds him nature cannot be contained, curated, or marketed. And the subtext behind that is that Ellie has seen the carnage firsthand. She's not theoretical. She's the grounding force Hammond desperately needs right now. She also invokes Malcolm's chaos theory here, because reinforcing the film's message is important here. Life finds a way, often violently, and that's what is happening. This scene is where Jurassic Park stops being a sci-fi spectacle and becomes a cautionary tale. And Ellie's presence here is key because she's calm and she's intelligent and direct. Most importantly, direct. The emotional and philosophical anchor of the scene here, and this is the kind of character development I love. And just look at how the difference is reflected before, during, and after the scene. Now I'm gonna add some visuals in the edits, but alright, Hammond, before the scene, he's a visionary genius, he's optimistic, he's theatrical, he's determined for a next time. Alright, Ellie, before the scene, strong-willed, scientist, observant, knows that it won't work. Alright, during the scene, he's disillusioned but still clinging to control. Ellie, during the scene, become the film's voice of wisdom, reason, and compassion, which is sorely needed here. And then after the scene, Hammond starts to accept reality and take steps to evacuate. This is the tipping point, which is such a beautiful character arc. This is the tipping point. Nothing else before this was a tipping point. This conversation right here with the ice cream is the tipping point. And Ellie, after this scene, emerges as the true ethical heart of the movie, and who grounds Hammond into, an actual human being rather than an eccentric billionaire with a crazy dream. So this is where Hammond realizes his hubris aided by Ellie, because he keeps talking about next time the fatal flaw in his character looking for control, and Ellie, in a not so cheesy but somewhat emotional moment, brings Mr. Icarus back to Earth to stop this madness and get your head in the game, man.
Just keep your head in the game. Just keep your head in the game.
No, not that, Troy. Not now. People are dying. Read the room. Next morning, the kids and Alan wake up to the Brachiosaurus having the cutest family breakfast. Alan and Tim feed a dinosaur. Man, I'm so jealous of Timmy. I think Alan did this to provide the kids an opposing, non-threatening side to dinosaurs. That they can be just large cows, as he puts it, two legs. But legs being legs gets sneezed on, and here we get the frustration from Tim that she's never gonna try something new, and we get new information very organically that she's just gonna stay locked in her room hacking away like a nerd. You know, she says she's a hacker, which is gonna be important later on. So again, foreshadowing in very organic moments. This kind of sibling relationship in Jurassic franchise is what I live for and haven't seen since the first movie, which is Jurassic Park. Even though he isn't their dad, he acts perfectly like their dad, and it's just so wholesome. Ooh, looks like there's some wild breeding going out here in Jurassic Park, boys. Dinosaur party! Munching on people, roaming around, not being extinct, and on top of that, procreating. Dinosaurs are having the time of their lives, and turns out it was the amphibian DNA. Again, like I said, I love this movie. The amphibian DNA gaps that filled the dino gene gaps, they can change sex in a single sex environment so that they don't die out. And in short, life finds a way.
Malcolm was right. Life found a way.
While the three are off on Dora the Explorer Dino Edition, the people in the control room are debating whether or not to reboot the entire park system. Hold on to your butts, folks, because Arnold is not for it, but gets ordered to do it anyway. And this is a moment that I would qualify as a don't breathe, just watch, pause and see what happens. And then we see the DOS command blinking on a screen, the little green light. Let go of your butts, ladies and gentlemen, we have liftoff. That was a weird sentence. Sorry. But it's not that simple. Of course it's not. The genius who designed this place may be great at making excellent columns, but he put the raptor pen in between the circuit breaker building and the main control room. As Muldoon is quick to point out, Hammond is so out of his mind that even Nedry didn't do this. How evil do you have to be that even Dennis Nedry would not do what you did? He may be stupid enough to play fetch with Death Lizard, but messing with raptors is where he drew the line. And here I would like to point out a loophole that from a safety and design perspective, the circuit breakers should definitely have been in or near the control room, not outside in a separate building next to the velociraptor paddock. In the real world, in high security or hazardous environments like power plants and hospitals or literally zoos, critical power controls are centralized. Backup systems and breakers are located in secure, easily accessible locations, never next to the teeth with feet. Imagine the circuit breaker being next to the tiger or lion enclosure or bear enclosure. It just makes zero sense. Remote access or redundancy is built in. You don't need a human sacrifice every time someone reboots the entire system. But here we get Jurassic Park logic. We spared no expense unless it was for basic electrical engineering and OSHA compliance, because the Velociraptor paddock is literally the most dangerous area of the park, and that's where you put the emergency power shed? Seriously? So Ellie literally has to Laura Croft her way across the jungle terrain, enter an old maintenance shed, avoid being eaten while flipping breaker switches like she's playing dinosaur whack-a-mole. I mean, imagine if this was Disney World. Sorry folks, Splash Mountain's down. Please send a team member through the haunted animatronic dungeon to reboot the magic. This movie is too smart for such loopholes, but I get it, we need action scenes. We need a reason why the raptor pen is open, but still. Mr. Arnold decides to go turn on the circuit breakers and everyone else goes to the emergency bunker. You're telling me you had an emergency bunker all along, and I don't know what to say to you, my dude. On the other side, the trek is taking a toll on the three wanderers, and we see a running herd of gallimimus, and gallimimus are omnivores, but they only instill fear in the hearts of insects or small animals. Tim astutely notices that while Dr. Grant is busy being a fanboy, that they're running straight towards them. Well, not straight, but in a perfect V formation, just like a flock of birds evading a predator. I mean, shouldn't this sentence be a concern if they're running like that, evading a predator? And sure enough, jump scare! We see the T-Rex that traumatized the kids eat one of the dinosaurs, and the three hide behind a log, terrified. Tim wants to watch, but Lex wants to go, and Alan drags the boy away from a real-life Natural Discovery Channel episode. Oh, by the way, this is the first dinosaur down, folks. Our first dinosaur down. Back in the emergency bunker, Hammond is playing nurse to Malcolm while Ellie figures something is wrong, assuring her that when Disneyland opened, nothing worked, to which Malcolm replies with one of my favorite retorts.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
All this time, you had walkie-talkies? Why didn't you give one to Mr. Arnold? At this point, we are operating on the assumption that he is dead, but Mr. Arnold goes to reboot the system and doesn't come back, so we don't see it happen. But let's be honest, when Samuel L. Jackson leaves the room and doesn't return in a timely fashion in a horror movie, assume the worst. Then Hammond tries to be gentlemanly and saying it ought to be me that going because I'm male and you're female and whatever, and let me throw my coat over this puddle for you, puddle of blood. And Ellie retorts with my favorite line from her character in the movie:
we can discuss sexism and survival situations when I get back.
This line puts the entire feminism of Jurassic World to shame. And I just absolutely love Ellie Sattler so much. See, Jurassic World, this is how you show a strong woman without shoving in our faces that, oh, look at the strong female character. Learn from this movie. This movie came out in 93. Sorry. Scariest Creepscare for those who have watched it. The raptor pen has been compromised. I say the raptor pen has been compromised. People hide. Everyone hide. As I said before, even Nedry never messed with those bitches. Muldoon notices the raptor who is hunting them, so he tells Ellie to run to the shed, which she does in the most badass Tomb Raider way as possible, and she makes contact with Hammond, who guides her, and bickers with Malcolm like a married couple about who can read a schematic better. Spoiler alert, it's Malcolm.
Just never followed the main cable chart. I understand how to read a schematic.
Meanwhile, the kids and Alan come to the fence, but you didn't know your girlfriend is turning the electricity back on. Better hurry up or you'll be fried and toasted. I bet you're annoyed by my Alan does throw a stick at it to see if it's still off and plays a prank on the kids because he's trying to be friendly and he's formed a genuine bond with them. And jump scare, which Tim finds hilarious and Lex finds terrifying. A T-Rex roar acts as a jump scare and they scale the fence. Now I've seen people say Tim can fit through these wires, but he can't. He's not that small. Alright, he would only get stuck. Either he would be electrified or his legs would be chopped off by the T-Rex. This suspense is going to count as an extended creep scare as a whole. Each switch turning on and we wonder if they're gonna make it in time, and the countdown. It's a really tense scene, very well done. And just as Ellie turns on the perimeter fence, Timmy gets 10,000 volts of electricity through him and dies.
Count 3. 1, 2.
Dr. Grant performs CPR though and brings him back. But again, jump scare. And one of the most realistic things in this movie is that after getting jolted by electricity, Timmy is shown to be physically drained. He's not as cheerful. He's injured, and he doesn't just bounce back. Back at the shed, Ellie is celebrating when a raptor suddenly jump scares her, and she rushes to the other side only to confirm to us that yes, Mr. Arnold definitely did perish with his half-eaten arm on her shoulder. That's another one down for the count, and this time it's a good guy, so we can feel bad about it. We find Muldoon hunting the hunters, but I think he forgot to do the math, unless he's psychic and he knows that one is in the shed with Ellie and he knows they possess the power of critical thinking and they hunt in packs. Shouldn't he be wary of 3 raptors? He's just focusing on one, but I can't fault him because his last words are clever girl, and those are some epic last words for someone outwitted by predators.
Clever girl.
Honestly, she was. R.I.P. to the only guy who respected the danger in the park. Seriously. And jump scare for the raptor that appears out of nowhere and chowing down on the hunter. The game warden out means another good guy goes down here. Man, these raptors just ripping the baseline from another one bites the dust. I love how the kids react to the buffet. It makes you think that they've been in survival mode so long that they haven't had anything to eat, and it hasn't even crossed their minds, and they haven't complained at all. You know, they were tired or were hungry. They're not whiny little shits. They're actually just following Alan Grant because they know he can't do anything. It's the little things that make a movie and that's why this movie is so good. Man, I will never stop saying that. And Grant making dad jokes now is just so adorable.
Big Tim, the human piece of toast.
And then we get the spoonful of fear jelly scene. A creep scare, if there ever was one. This is an iconic cinematic creep scare. Where Lex sees a real dinosaur behind the mural or the picture and moving and everything, and this shot is classic cinema. Good thing poor Timmy's heart could take the shot. And now we come to the kitchen scene, which so many movies have tried to do over and over and over again but failed. This is OG, man, and it is an extended mix of creep scares and jump scares. As an excellent creep scare of a raptor breathing on the glass, looking inside to see if they're in there, and Alan regroups with the other adults and finally gets a gun. Ellie jinxes it by saying unless they learn how to open doors, and the raptor simultaneously opens the door where the kids are. Creep scare for sure, where the raptor starts calling its minions to a game of hide and seek with the kids, and you can see what Muldoon meant about problem solving. The raptor intentionally knocks, spans jump scare, and jump scares them again by appearing from beneath the counter, not above or not anything. They're literally playing hide and seek with the kids, and they're taunting them and they're using clever tactics. A spoon falls in a creep scare when one raptor jumps up for a better vantage point. Extra credit creep scare when Tim refuses to move as a kid in shock, and the raptor is just about to spot him until Lex uses herself as bait and makes some noise with the spoon and tries to fit in the oven, and it won't close, the lid is stuck, and the evil, and again spared no expense, but the evil smile is a creep scare, and it seems like a jump scare, only for the raptor to charge full steam ahead, bonk her head, giving Lex time to escape. Tim finds his inner courage and runs towards the freezer. The raptor follows and both slip on ice, but since the raptor had more momentum and weight and everything, Tim slides up quickly and locks the door with some difficulty while his sister runs away like she's running to go buy the last roll of toilet paper in a supermarket, and then jump scares him by putting a hand on his shoulder. Lex, honey, his heart just stopped not 5 minutes ago. A little warning next time. The raptor that received a bonk to the head gets up and looks at them, and the look on the raptor's face is a definite creep scare. They reunite with Alan and Ellie, and they tell them that they're in the kitchen, and they make their way to the control room, and holy shit, jump scare over jump scare when Alan comes face to face with the raptor, and then it tries to open the door without Ellie. There is no one who can boot up the door locks, so they're screwed. Oh, but wait, didn't Tim say Lex is a hacker? See, it all comes back very organically. So Lex gets on the job, and conveniently it's a Unix system. However, it's a pretty big park, many different files to go through and not that much time. She finally finds the right file and gets everything up and running again, and they all live happily ever after. The end. Just kidding. The raptor is so determined it comes through the glass window in the control room. That's a jump scare. So they climb the ladder up into the vents as soon as the raptor jumps inside, and they kick the ladder down, but the raptor knows they're up there. And again, I gotta tell you, the reflection of the coat of the raptors on the raptor's skin is pretty creepy, so I'll qualify it as a creep scare. Jump scare when it intelligently figures out where they are moving based on their weight and the vents, and pops up the vent to say hi to Lex. Poor Lex. Hasn't she been through enough? I mean, these little kids. Hammond, what did they do to you? Why are you doing this to them? The vents lead them to the welcome center. It's the final showdown. In the final showdown, the vents lead them to the welcome center and get another jump scare by the raptor, and they all climb onto the display of dino bones hanging meekly from the ceiling, and the raptor jumps on as well to join the party. Its weight breaks the display and causes everyone, bones and all, to fall onto the ground, where another raptor jump scares them. And just as they are cornered and Alan Grant is in a submissive position and the raptor is about to attack, the T-Rex comes in for a save. Now here, I have a point of contention. If a T-Rex was nearby, there would be tremors on the ground, some thuds or something like that. It suddenly morphs into a ninja. There would be tremors. They would feel tremors in the visitor center especially. It just takes one of the raptors, bites it, kills it. So the T-Rex is a jump scare. A very effective and awesome one as the humans rush past the fighting dinosaurs out into a gas-powered jeep driven by Hammond. Sir, are you sure you should be driving? I don't trust your judgment. Doesn't seem very sound. And Malcolm in the back, so everyone's accounted for except for the people who are dino food. Alan denies to endorse the park and Hammond agrees. Meanwhile, the dinos fight it out. Raptor and Rex. Who will win? Oh, that was easy. It was Rexy, who got only a few scratches on the neck until she catches a raptor in her mouth, kills it, throws it like a rag doll, impaling it on one of the bones, and roars like she made it on Broadway. The banner falling in front of her saying, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth," an epic cinematic scene which will forever be amazingly beautiful and hauntingly beautiful. And two more dinosaurs down, by the way, dead. The freezer one, I'm not sure. I can't count it as dead because I don't know if it froze to death or if what happened there. But these two I can say for sure. Ham takes one last look at his park. You kind of feel bad for him, but then Alan pulls him into the helicopter, that some dreams are best left alone as dreams. He understands, but still stares at his amber mosquito walking stick, and tears are forming in his eyes, and you feel bad for this poor fragile old man who just had a dream. I have a dream, sort of a dream, Remember the boy band era? For those of you above 30. Anyways, and this is how you do a redemption arc. And speaking of arcs, we see Lex and Tim just side by side. Dr. Grant, because he has become their beacon of safety in the treacherous domain of dinosaurs. The movie ends as they see the birds out the window again, suggesting some dinosaur species evolved along those lines. I'm sorry this was a long video, but I said what I said and I hope you enjoyed it. I typed this on a keyboard that was half working, so it took me 1.5 days. Phew. And like, subscribe, follow. If you want me to do the books, I'm game. And watch out for my second video for behind the scenes fun facts. Please like the video if you're into that sort of thing. Ring that little bell there, subscribe. Don't forget to follow my socials. You can send me requests for movies, books or shows you'd like me to cover. I promise I'll try to make them shorter. I know I ramble. Remember, I'm here to keep count of the jump scares and the creep scares, so you, my geeks and non-geeks, don't have to. Now go watch that movie and have a great time and a good night's sleep if you can. See you in the next video. This has been Nemo the Geek. Be safe, be curious, stay weird, and stay awesome. And like this movie, do epic shit.